Good morning, everyone. It's 11 a.m. This is Mike Dutter with the National Weather Service in Wakefield, and let's go ahead and get started with our weekly impact weather briefing. Um, really, if generally a tranquil week is in store for really most of the week, even into the weekend. Today, we will see dry and breezy conditions as well as low humidity as a cold front is moving through the area right now. And there is a increased fire danger statement for this afternoon into early this evening for especially areas west of I-95 where you have those lower relative humidity levels as well as gusty northwest winds. And then for the rest of the week, it will be much cooler tomorrow, temperatures below normal into the 50s, and then increasing to gradually to near or even above average temperatures by the end of the week. So tomorrow will be the coolest day, and then gradually warming up through the weekend. And really, unfortunately for our drought areas, the next chance of appreciable rainfall will not be until Friday or into Saturday with that cold front we talked about. Again, this cold front that's moving through today really didn't give us too much rain. Maybe some people had some sprinkles or light showers, nothing of consequence. And again, next chance really isn't until Friday and Saturday. And for our marine partners with this cold front, north to northwest winds will remain rather gusty, gusting up to 25, 30 knots possible, and small craft advisories are in effect through Tuesday. There is a possibility of some brief gale force gusts tonight into early Tuesday morning as you get that core of the high building in. And if that happens, we would be issuing some special marine warnings, as again, it would be very brief, less than just a couple hours. So the first thing I wanted to show you just was the satellite and the radar. You can see we did have this rain that moved through Richmond, in our central Virginia, but you can see it has really, really diminished as it's approached the coast, really just sprinkles at best. And with our clouds, you can see that especially folks out to the west, the clouds are probably already starting to thin out and clear. And really the whole area should see partly to mostly sunny skies by this early this afternoon as that cold front rapidly moves to the east and south. But you can see here with this is indicative of some pretty significant drying at the low levels with those clouds clearing out so quickly. So again, watching out for the increased fire concerns this afternoon. So looking at the weather for the next week, notice that we have this cold front moving south of the area. There is a small chance for a shower or a thunderstorm across our far southeast area in northeast North Carolina, but really it's going to be very spotty at best. Again, just a random shower or maybe isolated thunderstorm. But once we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, and even into Thursday, really even into Friday morning as well, this high pressure builds in, it remains over the area. Notice how tomorrow we have the high to our west, and usually when that happens, you can get cooler air from the north. Again, Tuesday will be the coolest day of the week. And then as that high shifts off to offshore, we start to see the winds come around out of the southeast and south, and we will gradually start to see warming temperatures through the end of the week. Again, potential for an isolated storm across our North Carolina counties, but again, the severe risk is minimal to none, and in fact, thunderstorm activity would be very isolated at best. And then once that high pressure moves in, no thunderstorms are expected through the next few days. Again, in the shaded area here, speaking of fire danger, the shaded area here has the greatest risk for increased fire danger today, and that's where we're expecting relative humidity values of 25 to 35%, with some north to northwest wind gusts as high as 20 to 25 miles an hour. So anywhere really along and west of I-95, you could see fire starts this afternoon, especially with this with this dry with the dry weather and the gusty winds, and really the lack of rain for the past few days. And in fact, here's the RH for today, as low as, again, 25 to 35%, east or west of 95. And you can see the entire area is going to see wind gusts up to 25, maybe even close to 30 miles per hour closer to the coast. Luckily, those areas will have some higher relative humidities today, but still the whole area will see wind gusts up to 25 miles per hour this afternoon. A lot of stuff on here, but just sort of highlighting these go from west to east, and so this is sort of the western part of the area, just sort of showing where you have the lower relative humidities and the increasing wind gusts this afternoon, sort of combining to give that increased fire danger. And unfortunately, rainfall will be very sparse through at least through the end of the week. Again, this rainfall here, it says through Monday p.m. and this has already fallen or will have fallen this afternoon. Very light amounts, less than a 500th of an inch, really, in most locations. And then really the next chance of rain beyond that is Friday night into Saturday. But again, looks like the cold front will be washing out and very limited moisture will be available. So rainfall is not expected to be too heavy or heavy at all into the week. Just a quick overview of temperatures. Notice, today is the warmest day for at least the next few days. Even this afternoon, it will start cooling down some, especially along the coast. But then tomorrow, notice how temperatures struggle to get certainly out of the 50s, and even some locations close to the coast with those very cold water temperatures. Remember, water temperatures are still in the 40s from this cold winter. Temperatures closer to the bay and the coast will struggle to even get into the 50s with that north wind. And then just gradually warming up, a little bit warmer Wednesday, especially Thursday and Friday will be the warmest day of the week before that cold front, and another cool down for the weekend. And temperatures overnight, this could be some localized pockets of below freezing temperatures or at or below freezing temperatures tonight, and again Wednesday morning. With again, so anyone that has put some plants out or anything, there is a chance for some temperatures dropping to freezing, but again by Thursday, Friday, they should warm up in the 50s or into the 40s and the 50s. And then again, looking at the precipitation chances, really confined after today, confined to Friday afternoon into Saturday morning, when that cold front moves through. One thing I wanted to show you really quick was just the sort of how the temperatures and the shading, and then the wind directions and these arrows. Just notice how actually, especially along the coast and even inland, how the temperatures are gonna diminish, lower some as the afternoon goes on. This is about 1 p.m. So temperatures still in the 70s across the south, but notice these northwest winds and these northerly winds are starting to increase across the area. Once you get to 3 p.m. though, and 4 p.m., notice how you really start to see that push of colder air. So I would expect our highs to be right now, or maybe in just a few hours, especially closer to the coast and then along the across northern and central Virginia, and then the temperatures are going to start sliding back as the afternoon moves on. This is 6 p.m. temperatures well even into the 40s across the north, or in lower to mid 50s across central Virginia, with even lower 40s along the coast with this strong northerly wind. And for next weekend into next week, the good news is after we get through the weekend, this coming weekend, where it looks like it's going to be cooler, we're going to start seeing, I know many people are on spring break next week, schools are on spring break. We are looking at above normal temperatures are favored for much of next week. Unfortunately for drought though, below normal precipitation is favored at this time. For our marine threat potential over the next 5 days, today into tomorrow are really going to be our main risk for our small craft conditions, with again wind gusts to 25 to 30 knots expected. Subsiding somewhat on Wednesday, but then trying to build back up for Thursday and especially Friday as the winds turn southerly, as that high shifts offshore and that next system comes in. And sort of a detailed forecast for the wind gusts for the next day or two. Really, this core area from this afternoon into this evening is where the gustiest winds are going to be as that high pressure builds in. Once you get to tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, the winds dramatically increase in gusts less than 10 knots from Wednesday really into Thursday before increasing by Friday. And you can see this here with our wind and wind gust graphic here. We start to see this building south wind during the day on Friday, then shifting to the north by Saturday, Friday night into Saturday. So with that next cold front, so again, another chance for small craft advisory for the start of the weekend. Seas over the next few days. The peak of these seas will be later this afternoon and tonight, generally 3 to 5 feet over the bay, and perhaps 4 to 6 or even 7 feet over the coastal waters, with that north wind increasing, and then diminishing for Tuesday night, Wednesday into Thursday before building again on Friday. And that's all I have. So I'll be happy to take any questions.